So you're thinking about living, working, or maybe studying in South Korea? Awesome. But then you run into it, the visa system. It can feel like a giant confusing puzzle. Well, today, we're going to give you the map to solve it.
C38, D2, E74. I mean, look at this. It's just an alphabet soup of codes and numbers, right? It's enough to make your head spin. It's so easy to feel completely lost before you even start, just trying to figure out which one of these things even applies to you.
So how in the world do you make sense of all this? Well, the key is to stop thinking about it as some random list of codes. Instead, start seeing it as a series of different pathways, where each one is designed for a very specific purpose. And that is exactly what we're going to break down right now.
We're going to start by getting the basic layout of this maze. Then, we'll walk through 4 of the biggest pathways: short visits, the student route, the professional and investor track, and finally, the roads that lead to making Korea a long-term home.
Okay, first things first. I know it looks super complicated, but the Korean visa system is actually pretty logical. It all boils down to one simple question. What's your main reason for wanting to come to Korea? Seriously, answering that one question is the very first step to finding your path.
Let's kick things off with the most common pathway of all. This is for all the people who aren't planning to move here or work here, but are just, passing through for a vacation, to visit family, or for a quick business meeting.
You've basically got 2 main gates here. There's the B1 visa waiver, if you're a citizen of a country that has an agreement with Korea, and then there's the B2 tourist visa for pretty much everyone else. Now, the key takeaway for both is exactly the same, and this is really important. These are temporary doorways. You generally cannot extend them or switch to another visa type while you're still in Korea. You have to leave the country and apply for the correct visa from the outside.
All right, next up is a huge route that hundreds of thousands of people take every single year: the path for students and trainees. This is for anybody coming to get a formal education, whether it's a language course or a full-blown PhD program.
Now, the number one question for students is always, can I get a job? And the answer is yes, but there are some really strict rules. First, you need official permission. And then the number of hours you can work is directly tied to how far along you are in your studies, and, crucially, your Korean language skills, which are measured by the TOEIC exam. Just look at how the hours you can work jump up once you hit a TOEIC level 3 or 4. It just goes to show you language ability is a key that unlocks a lot more opportunities in this system.
And what happens if your plans change? What if you want to switch universities? Well, the good news is you're not stuck. The system has a very clear process for this. It's not a dead end. As long as you follow the steps, get the okay from your current school, get accepted by the new one, and file all the right paperwork, you can totally navigate a change in your academic journey.
Okay, let's get to the heart of it. For so many people, building a career in Korea. This pathway is easily the most diverse. It's got dozens and dozens of visa types for specific jobs, for investors, and for people wanting to start their own businesses.
Now, before we get into all the different codes, you have to understand this one key piece of jargon: essential professional personnel. This idea is at the core of so many work visas. Basically, it means you're not just any employee. You have some kind of specialized skill in management, in tech, in production, that the company sees as vital and can't just easily find in a local hire. That's the whole logic behind why a company can sponsor a foreign worker.
So, let's compare 2 flavors of the D8 investor visa. The D8-1 is kind of the classic route. It's for those key players at a company that has a big foreign investment, over 100 million won. But the D8-4, that's totally different. It's for the new generation of tech startup founders. It's not about how much money you've invested. It's all about the value of your idea, which they measure using a point system.
And what does that point system actually care about? Well, if you look at the scoring categories for that D8-4 visa, it's pretty obvious it's all about innovation and expertise. Your intellectual property, things like patents, is the biggest chunk of points. That's followed by your education level and your potential income.
And the magic number you need to hit, the goal you have to reach, it's 60. Out of a total of 300 points, if you can prove your value across those categories and get to that 60-point mark, the door to launching your own tech startup in Korea swings right open.
Beyond the investors, the main work visa is the E7 for specific activities. And that word specific is everything. It's tied to one of over 80 different designated professions. This visa is really a tool for the government to bring in the exact skills the economy needs at any given time. And that's why this list is so incredibly diverse. I mean, it covers everything from high-tech jobs like data scientists to industrial skills like ship welding and even service jobs like a hotel receptionist. It's wild.
Okay,
So you've studied in Korea, maybe you've worked here for a few years. What's next? This brings us to our final and maybe most important section, the pathways that take you from a temporary stay to becoming a long-term resident.
One of the main roads to residency is the F227 visa. And guess what? It's also based on points. And just by looking at the categories, you get a really clear picture of what the system values for people who want to stay long-term. A high annual income is the single biggest factor. Then comes your age, with the most points given to people in their late 20s, probably to get people in their prime working years. After that, it's your education level and, of course, your Korean language skills.
For skilled workers who are trying to move up to an E-7-4 visa, the bonus points tell you a lot about the government's priorities. You get points for loyalty, for staying with the same company for over 3 years, and you get a huge boost for working in what they call a population decline area. It's a clear strategy to pull skilled people into the regions that need them the most. Hey, even having a local driver's license helps because it shows you're invested in daily life here.
So when you put it all together, you can start to see this clear journey emerge. Someone might start with a short-term visit, then come back as a student on a D2 visa. Then they could graduate, land a job with an E7 visa, use their skills and income to get an F2 residency visa, and eventually hit the final goal of F5 permanent residency. Suddenly, the maze starts to look like a clear, step-by-step path.
You know, at the end of the day, the system isn't really designed to be confusing, it's designed to be specific. The most important thing to remember is that each visa is like a key to a specific door. Your challenge is just to figure out which key is the right one for your purpose, whether that's to study, to work, or to build a life here.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. As South Korea faces some pretty major demographic and economic changes, which of these pathways, the tech founder, the skilled factory worker, the long-term resident, which one will end up being the most important for the country's future? The answer to that question is probably going to shape how this entire system evolves for years to come.